Welcome to another episode of Deconstructing the Home Show, and today we are talking about single versus multi-family rentals. And I've done some of both, and currently I do more multi-family, but there are a lot of investors that do a lot of investing in single-family homes and keeping those as rentals. Why do I do what I do and they do what they do, and how have we all come to our different conclusions? That's what we're going to go through. So this is going to be really practical and a lot of good information for you, hopefully, that you can go and start implementing quickly as you are building your investment portfolio. So obviously everybody knows what single family home is. Single family home is just a home, probably what you live in, unless you live in an apartment or something like that. And it's just a detached home that people purchase. Multifamily is anything from a duplex, triplex, fourplex, to small apartment complexes, 8 to 16 unit, to even larger apartment complexes, the stuff you see on the side of highways, 50, 100, 2, 3, 400 units. There's really an infinite number of sizes for large multifamily units. They get absolutely ginormous. And obviously those are incredibly expensive, and single family homes are usually a better price point. They're easier to finance sometimes. So why do some people start with single family? Because I actually don't like single family rentals, and I'll tell you why. Single family rentals, number one, they are stuck to the market. What I mean by that is, if it's a multifamily property, a little bit of a larger multifamily property, you can manipulate the value based off of an NOI, and I've talked about that in other episodes of the show, what NOI is. And because of that artificial manipulation, you can control the value of the property a lot easier if the market is in a down cycle, or the market really has little effect on what the value of the property is, because you're able to control all of that in your own little ecosystem by how well you manage and run your property. Single family, on the other hand, is completely stuck to the market. So it doesn't matter how well the property is run. It doesn't really matter how much the property rents for. People are going to be looking at a single family rental based off every other home on the market and what those homes are selling for. So even if you're getting a really stupid good rental return, that doesn't have a direct impact on the value of the home. It is following the trends of the market. So with that said, that can be a good thing. If you are buying homes in an area that you know is going to see a lot of appreciation, maybe being gentrified, going through a lot of change, money's being invested in that area, single family rentals can make a lot of sense, because you can go from a lower price point rental to a much higher price point very quickly. The home is going up in value because all the other single family homes in that area are also going up in value. So you can see, and you can just kind of hop on that bandwagon and ride that trend up. But a lot of people, you see that when they purchase a large portfolio of single family homes, the value of that can kind of flatline. And yes, you're making good rental income, which is important. Hopefully you're covering your debt service, which is the cost of the mortgage, taxes, and insurance on the property. That's all kind of the financing side of holding a single family home. So you need to be able to cover that. And hopefully it's also making you some profit every month. So if you buy a home right, you do some improvements to it, you walk into some equity into the single family home, and then you're also making a little bit every month. So it's having positive cash flow, and you're also paying down the notes. So you are investing, and it is working, and it is growing, but the actual overall value of the property is much more set by what's happening in the market. So even if you have a great portfolio of single family rentals, and there is a dip in that part of your city or in that part of your market, even though your rental price really isn't necessarily affected, the value of your home is going to drop precipitously potentially, and you're not going to be able to sell it for what you thought it was worth just a little bit ago. And that doesn't really happen with slightly larger multifamily properties, right? So with a multifamily property, you can artificially, or not really artificially, but you can control all of the value criteria for how much that property is worth. And that's really only true for properties over 5 units and above, is when the NOI really starts kicking in. The 2 to 4 units is a little interesting area, and it can be a great area to invest. I've bought and sold multiple duplexes and fourplexes, because sometimes those can be purchased very inexpensively. Those many times are picked up by small investors that want to move away from single family. They can see incredibly good cash flow because you're buying them for what the single family price of an area is worth, or even less sometimes, because there's less people that actually want that asset. So they can cash flow incredibly well, but they are not going to see the appreciation based off NOIs directly or single family appreciation if the area is going up. So it's this odd little gray area, and if you can find good deals, they're absolutely out there, and you can make a ton of cash flow off of that. So that potentially is a great place to start building a rental portfolio based off those duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes, because you're not competing with people that are looking at it based off of an NOI. It's not a single family home, so you kind of leave out conventional buyers, so they're not really competing with you. So it's this small area of investors. A lot of people like them, but there can be really good deals to be picked up in that little space. So again, you have single family, you have duplexes to fourplexes, 2 to 4 units, and then you have everything over 4 units. So 5 units and above, going up to 50, 100, 200 units. Those are the 3 classes or types of investing most likely for rentals, for buy and holds, that you'll be doing when you're talking about residential real estate. Single family, the small multifamily, then the traditional multifamily. They're all valued differently, and you just got to kind of decide what makes sense for you in the market you're at and what your long-term goals are. If you want to have an asset that's quick, another good thing about single family is that they are assets that are easy to unload normally, right? If it's just a single family home, that means that anyone that just wants to buy and live in a home is potentially a buyer for your property. Duplex, again, much smaller, and full multifamily, 5 units and above, is also a smaller segment because that's only going to be investors. So if you're looking at real estate and saying, hey, I may not be doing this for that long, I may need to get out of this, I may need to liquidate assets. If I'm buying these for my kids' college fund and I'm planning to sell a house every time one of my kids goes to college, maybe picking up some single family rentals is a great way to do that. But again, it all depends on what your long-term strategy is. For me, I want to build long-term residual income that I control the value of the property. So I like larger, mid-sized to larger multifamily real estate. I can get in there, I can stabilize it, I can control it, I can create the type of property that I want to own and manage, and that will provide me long-term cash flow. I don't really care about getting in and out of specific deals. I'm not going to be liquidating assets necessarily, and I'd rather simply be working with investors when I'm looking to liquidate the properties. But it all depends on your strategy. But those are the 3 types of real estate you'll most likely be investing in if you're looking to start buying and holding more residential real estate.